Welcome to Tomo's Piano. This is the day 5 of Learn to Play Piano in 8-day series. After this lesson, you will know major scales, how to form major chords, and play songs with chords. So today I'm going to cover the topic about playing chords. For those of you who watched last week's lessons, right, and about reading music and knowing how to read the beats and pitch in music, that's good for you, and I commend you that you took all these classes. What if I tell you that that's not really necessary when it comes to playing jazz or play popular music on the spot? You don't necessarily have to know how to read music. Then how do you do that, right? I had no idea how to do this until I start taking jazz piano lessons. And I'm going to share a little bit like basic of this playing jazz or even popular music. Simple rule to playing when you just want to accompany somebody singing at the birthdays or anything, right? What you have to do, all you need to do is these 3 steps. Okay, the first is know where your keys are in ABCs. And the second step is know how to form chords, which I'm going to explain today. And the step 3 is to play with the beat, using those chords and playing with those chords. Pretty simple, right? So that's how jazz musicians can play, because most of the jazz, they know the chords, how they are formed, and they play with the notes in those chords, and they create their own melody. That's how they do it. Whereas in classical, you have to read each note, as I described since the first video. So today, I'm going to cover 3 topics. Okay, one is scale and chords. Today I'm going to cover the major scales first, and then I go on to major chords. First, I'm going to explain about the scales. And what the scales are, these are the sets of musical notes that are in order. So any musical notes that are in order, some kind of sequence, is called the scales. On the other hand, the chords are more than 2 notes sounding at the same time. Okay, so those are the differences. If I were to demonstrate, let's say major scale. That's a scale. That's a scale, but those are scales like sets of musical notes in sequence. Whereas chords, the main ones are the 3-note chords, which are like those are chords, and knowing those chords helps you in playing jazz or anything impromptu. Now that I explained about the scale versus chords, so major scale, to put it simple, is the melody when you sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. That's the major scale. That pattern of the sound is the major scale, to put it simple. On the piano, which is a C instrument, a major scale of C, that's a major scale of C. To play from D, but do you see the pattern of the melody is the same? That pattern of tone, da 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 da, is the major scale. And we're just gonna focus on the major scale for today. If you see the music score that we went over last week, this is C, because you can tell it because of the bar that's going through the note. And there's D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So from C to D, do you remember? The keys next to each other are half steps. This to this is actually a full step. This and this is half, this and this is half. So from C to D is full step. So let's say we're gonna write 1 for the full step, half for the half step, right? So C to D is full step, D to E is full step, and E to F, that's the next to each other, and there's no black keys, so that's a half step, and F to G is the full step. Here is also a full step because half and half is full, and A to B is also full, and B to C, again, there's no black key, so they're next to each other. It's half step. So what I want you to remember, the major scale, the pattern is full step, half step, and full step, half step. So 1, 1, half, 1, 1, 1, half. That's the pattern for all major scale. Let me demonstrate in starting from F. This is the F major scale. So where's F? You can use from here, but for the sake of this diagram, let's use it the F here. Just remember that pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So from F, first one is whole and whole step, and you have to go half step because that's the pattern you're following. Now you go to this one and full step from half and half, so and full and full and half. You kind of see the pattern. So full, full, half, and you have to go half step and full step because it's half and half. It's full, 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 half. Again, it follows that full, full, half, full, 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 half. It goes the same for any key, starting from G. If you start from here, what's the next one? So you have to go full step, and then full step, and half step, but there's no flat key, so the next one is half step, right? And then the full step, and here you have to go again full step for the last time, so half and half, and half step, and you get the same da 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 da, the do re mi pattern. And the cool thing about knowing this pattern of major scale, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, is that it applies to all the musical instruments. So for example, if you're playing guitar and you want to play the scale, if you're playing a violin and you want to play the scale, always remember full, full, half, full, 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 half, and you get the same major scale. Now, how do we apply this to the chords? So chords are 2 or more notes played at the same time, and we're going to focus on the major chord. Specifically, we're going to focus on this one called triad. Why is it tri? Because it's 3 notes. So 3 note chords. So let's say C major scale is here. What you do is take the first note, take the third note, and then take the 5th note of the major scale. So if you look at this chart, 1, 3, 5. So C, D, E, F, G. So C, E, G played together is the C major chord. What happens with the F major chord? So if you play the F major scale, right? So taking 1 and then 3rd note and the 5th note, that's the F major scale. So this applies to all the keys on the piano. Just take the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of the major scale and you get the major chord. So major scale interval patterns in any key. As I said, so if the key, there's 8 keys, 1 and 8 are the octave of the same key. So if it starts from C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? If you start from F, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So 1 and 8 are the same key, just 1 octave higher. But the pattern of the scale, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. That's for any major chord in any music, okay? And to make the major chords, you just take this 1, 3, and 5 from the scale and play at the same time. So what happens to 1, 3, and 5? So 1 to 3, the space in between or interval between is 1 plus 1, so that's 2. And 3 to 5, the interval between is half and 1. So 1 and half. Any key, play 2 whole step and up, and from there 1 full step and half, you get the major chord. So that's the basic idea. So once you remember all these major chords, you can play just by looking at the chart like this. Okay, last week we had to read everything to play the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Do you remember how we play? Right? So that's what you did, but you had to read each note. What if you had the music sheet with the top part with the melody, but there's no bottom part, right? Just C and F and C. But you know the C major chord, just written as C, meaning major, right? Is so you can just play the melody and it goes with the left part, which just plays the chord. And then playing the F chords with the left hand, and then C. So it just goes with that. So learning about the chords is very important because usually when there's a singer and you want to accompany, you play the chords. You don't play the melody. Somebody can just sing the melody and what you focus are the chords that you're going to play. Or if you can read music and you want to play the melody, then yes, you're going to read the right hand part, which is the melody, and then the left hand will play the chords. So you can play without reading all of this. You can play just by knowing C, F, and C. If I'm singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, you don't need any of this. All you need to have is C, F, and C. So that's the trick of playing impromptu. So just remember for today, important thing is 1, 3, 5 forms a major chord. 1, 3, 5. Any 1, 3, 5 from the major scale to form the major chord. And the homework for today is first learn the major chord all with the right hand. So just use this chart if you get confused like what to play. Trust your ear, like if it sounds like happy chords. Major chords are usually happy sounding. This is major chord. And minor chords are more sad sounding. Happy, not so happy. Happy, not so happy. So that's a difference between major and minor. So when you're playing, you can kind of tell, oh, that's not major. This is major. And also remember, they are consisted of all white keys for the C, F, and G, right? So remember those. Try to play that with the right hand first, but also focus on the left hand because a lot of times when you're playing the music, right hand will play the melody and left hand will play the chords. And so you need to be very versatile playing chords with the left hand. So the homework for today is those two, learning with both hands. And if you remember the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star from last week. Now I wrote the same melody here on the right hand, but then I put the chords right here. And I put those 3-note chords, which are triads here, just to tell you these are the hints. So C is this, F is this, C is this. I want you to complete those 2 measures, right? And after you complete, I want you to compare this with here and see what you notice. If you notice, like, what are the similarities, what are the differences? I bet you can find a lot about the music from this. That's it for today. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Bye.